Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. As I like to point out to you each and every day, it expands our base. Let's begin with politics. A remarkable moment last night that nobody seemed to notice. 22% of Republican voters in Indiana voted for Nikki Haley. That's right. They didn't vote for Donald Trump, who won the primary, but 22% voted for Nikki Haley. That should send a lesson to Republican leadership. If Donald Trump is going to win this election, he'll need that 22%. And then, of course, there was all of the salacious detail in the courtroom. I, of course, would love to have heard it live, but that's not the way it works. We get secondhand accounts. So whether you watch CNN, Fox, or MSNBC, or some other news source, the simple fact is it was not a good day for Donald Trump. There are several questions I want to pose. First of all, do you believe that Donald Trump did something with Stormy Daniels? And I think the overwhelming answer is yes. Number two, why did it take so long for all of this to come out? Well, it did come out. But indeed, going to court, even though this happened so many years ago, the issue is not what Donald Trump or Stormy Daniels did or did not do. The question is, did Donald Trump break the law? Did he juggle the books? Did he pay hush money? Did he try in his bookkeeping to cover it up? And the answer is that's precisely the issue. What I learned from listening to Stormy Daniels and the responses from Trump's attorneys is that he's a sleaze. That's it. Donald Trump is a sleaze. Do we want a man like Donald Trump in the White House? Okay, some of you will say, but John, I agree with Donald Trump on the issues. If that's the case, if you agree with him on the issues, then most assuredly the Republicans should nominate another candidate. That's the key. That's what has to happen. And you understand that the odds of that happening are extremely remote. We now know that the case dealing with all the documents that Donald Trump took to Mar-a-Lago is not going to be heard until, well, after the election. And that's a shame. The American people have a right to know, don't we? Of course, the idea also is to protect Donald Trump's rights. And I have every desire to do just that. But I believe the evidence is clear and mounting that Donald Trump is unfit to be president of the United States of America. The trial does not resume until tomorrow, but I'll be listening and you'll be listening. But more important, remember that all-important number, 22% of Republicans in Indiana voted for Nikki Haley, not Donald Trump. But now I want to turn to another issue, an issue that to me is perhaps the most important of all. Our planet is experiencing a warming that is remarkable. This last April, just concluded, was the warmest April on record. We are told by scientists it will only get warmer. Ocean temperatures were up by 21.04 degrees. And we've now had 11 months of a hot streak. There is a serious issue about the survival of our planet. That's right. And are the candidates addressing it? Is anyone talking about global warming? Is anybody talking about the Paris Accords? Is anybody talking about these vital issues? The answer is no. And that, my friends, should concern us all. One last comment. The networks were all consumed by Donald Trump yesterday, but Joe Biden gave a speech on Jew hatred. on antisemitism. That was powerful, compelling, and important. He understands, and we must understand, that the hatred that has been sacred for so long concerning Jews, well, it's growing. I wish that the networks had chosen to broadcast Joe Biden's speech. It was an important statement, one that should have been listened to, but instead, we are consumed by Donald Trump and what's going on in a courtroom in New York. It's a sad commentary, but that's the way the politics seems to have developed in this election year. I want to conclude by saying this. The world is getting warmer. Donald Trump is still in court. Hatred of Jews continues to grow, and the world seems indifferent to so many critical issues. This is a time for reflection and thought, a time when all of us should be focusing on the real issues of 2024. By the way, there was some good news. Social Security is a little bit stronger than everybody thought. And if you are on Social Security or you're planning on Social Security, that's a good thing. It turns out Social Security won't collapse or at least be reduced until the 2030s. Well, that's not too far away, but it still gives our politicians time to deal with that critical question as well. So many questions to be addressed in the campaign of 2024. Let's hope we get to it in the not too distant future, because the election is November 5th, and the future is coming rapidly. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand. That, of course, is our goal. And, of course, you can follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn and offer your impressions and thoughts. Deep appreciation to the wonderful producer of this program, Gogo Zoger. She makes sure that Around the Political World with John Rothman is up and running every single day. Gogo, thanks so much. And to all of you, I'll see you tomorrow.